Watching your revenue grow is one of the most satisfying aspects of running a business. But managing that growth and expansion successfully often proves challenging. In today's video, I'd like to share a story that many growing businesses can learn from. Now, this story is not particularly unique, as I've seen this play out many times over the last 20 years. And the best outcomes that I've seen out of this has come from business owners who have not buried their heads in the sand when a problem arises, and they've been able to make the hard decisions. So imagine a business that is thriving and growing by adding complementary services to their core business. Well, this was our client. They looked like a success story in the making. They had soaring monthly revenue, they had an expanding team, which resulted in them taking on a big new premises. Now, while the business was growing, so were their costs and so were the risks. And after a certain period, they started experiencing cash flow difficulties. Now, our client tried to grow out of these problems, so they persevered and concentrated very hard on sales. But after a sustained period of cash flow difficulties and mounting stress, they decided that a big strategic change was required, and it was time to refocus on what worked best. So what our client did was strip out all of the complementary services and go back to their core business. And unfortunately, this resulted in them having to make fairly drastic cuts to their staffing and their overheads. And these decisions were really difficult to make, particularly around the staffing, but they were necessary for the ongoing success and health of the business. Now, although their revenue has dropped significantly from its peak, the focus on their core business is starting to pay off. Cash flow is now consistently positive for the first time in a very long time. And just as importantly, a lot of anxiety and stress has been lifted off the business owner's shoulders. So in this case, success is not just about big teams, top line revenue. It's about understanding what truly works and having that courage to adapt. So in this situation, less was actually more. So what we did to help in this situation was we helped forecast the outcome of a number of different options that were available to the client. And this was crucial in supporting them in their decision-making process, as it provided some real insights rather than leaving them to work off their emotions. We also helped deal with some of their major creditors, including the ATO. And this gave the business owner some breathing room while they contemplated their options, and also gave time for their changes to take place. So I'll just finish off this video with some tips that may help some of you guys with the growing businesses. So the first one would be to prioritize your profits over your revenue. Now, talking about profits is not as exciting as revenue because the numbers are smaller, but it's always better than talking about going into liquidation. So the second tip would be to ensure that your systems and processes evolve with your business, because what took you to here may not take you to that next level. And this also includes you updating your performance reporting systems that are going to help identify issues early and also provide some data to underpin your decisions. The third tip would be to not be too proud to acknowledge that there are actually problems in your business. I've dealt with this many times in the past where some business owners have been quite dismissive about issues in their business and having some difficulty admitting that there are issues. So don't be that person. And the fourth tip would be to act quickly when problems arise and before it's too late. If the problem is not resolving itself over a short period of time, then it's pretty obvious that a change is required of some description. So if you're a growing business and need some support to avoid these pitfalls, then get in contact with our team and we can talk about your situation and help keep you on track.